Yazi, where we will trek into the native artist dialogue and narrative. Together, we will take a glimpse into the art process and the lives of the Navajo, Apache, Ute, and Pueblo artists living within Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. Tune in every third Thursday of the month at 9:30 a.m. or find podcast episodes. Native Art Voices of the Four Corners, great artist stories are the journey of art in the Four Corners.
KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center. The most important ingredients to sustaining health and wellness are the resources and tools that help you live a vibrant and healthy life. At San Juan Regional Medical Center, the goal is to promote health by making sure those resources are available. Find the path to the best life at lifebetterhere.com. San Juan Regional Medical Center. Better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care. Twelve minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning, the 23rd day of March, 2023. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, you can listen to us, of course, at 103.3 FM. And if you're anywhere else on the planet, just go to our website to listen, ksje.com. Or if there's a smart speaker eavesdropping on you, you can ask it to play KSJE, and it will do just that. So you can listen that way as well. We also want to welcome our viewers who are watching this visual radio program. The video is streaming live to the KSJE Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter account this morning. Coming up in the next few moments, my conversation with the San Juan County Partnership. We'll learn about the work that they are doing throughout San Juan County, so stay tuned for that. That begins in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then later on this morning, I'll be talking with artist Christy Ferrado from right here at San Juan College. She has some of her art on display here at the San Juan College Henderson Fine Arts Center Gallery. We'll learn more about that exhibit coming up this morning at 8:50 a.m. on KSJE. Mick Hess will be here roving with the arts, our classical music program coming your way at 9:06 on KSJE. And we remind you, you can connect with us on our Instagram page in addition to our other social media platforms of Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. And if you're a podcast person, you're probably already listening to podcasts on places where you can listen to KSJE podcasts as well, like iTunes and Spotify and iHeartRadio and Google Podcasts and Pandora. So just search and subscribe and maybe discover a new program that you may have missed. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it's a partly sunny morning so far, 31 degrees in Farmington, and we are expecting a partly sunny day today with a high of 45 degrees, maybe a very scattered chance of a shower this afternoon. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy with a low near 27, but then take a look at tomorrow. Another 70% chance of rain and snow showers on Friday with a high tomorrow of 44 degrees, 25 overnight. And then on Saturday, partly sunny skies, much colder with highs only reaching 36, and partly sunny skies on Sunday with a high near 40 degrees. Well, let me introduce my guests who are back with us this morning to talk a little bit about the San Juan County Partnership. Amanda Evans is back with us from the Partnership. Good morning. Welcome back to KSJE.
Good morning. It's nice to be here.
Good to have you back. Thank you for coming in. Also, Dionna Comanche is here as well. And Dionna, welcome back and good morning to you.
Hi, good morning. Nice to be here.
Thank you for being here as well. And let's get started, Amanda, by talking a bit about a couple of grants that the partnership is working on, right? These are grants that you've been awarded and are doing some work throughout the county, this Partnership for Success grant, right?
Yes, we actually have two of them. We have a one that's focused more on youth issues, so it does youth cannabis, youth alcohol, working on educating around vaping in the schools and things like that. And then the one today we're going to talk about that Dionna and I work on is Partnerships for Success 20 that focuses on overdose, Narcan education, things like that.
Got you. And so, when we're hearing a lot about Narcan and the issue of overdosing, and there was just an event a couple of weeks ago that I know the San Juan County Partnership was involved with in the Shiprock area to talk a little bit about this problem, and also introduce the idea of Narcan and get that more out into the community and more training into the community too, right?
Yes, we were able to participate in that event, and it was a meth and fentanyl awareness day. They've held them before just on meth, and then they've added fentanyl now just because it's becoming such a huge problem in our community. And we were able to go out and do Narcan training during that event and hear some other presenters and get some more knowledge out into the community.
You were telling me that there were representatives from the DEA at this event as well that provided some really interesting insights.
Yes, they had two people come in and do a presentation, some of the trends they're seeing, some of the issues that are coming up with where fentanyl's coming from, with how they're dealing with it, some of the educational materials that they have available through their website in different places.
Gotcha. Very, very good. Dionna, let me turn to you and ask a little bit about your work with this grant. Again, what type of things are you doing out in the community with this grant?
Right now, we are working, the big one right now, every Wednesday morning, I go out with street medicine with Dr. Pierce and some other nurses in the area. So we will go out in the morning, meet at 8, and go ahead and approach who's out in the community. Ask are they safe, where are they sleeping, just get to know them a lot more.
Now, pardon me for interrupting, but explain that a little bit more for us. So this is looking at maybe some of the homeless population, or just others that are on the streets in early mornings every week. You're going out. Is that the plan, or what you're doing?
It's the homelessness. Dr. Pierce and another doctor hand out burritos in the morning to them and feed them as well, and ask if they have their immunizations. What do they need? Are they hurting? Is there some things that they can work with them on? They give out blankets, water, just dental hygiene, just give out information. And then I tag along with Dr. Pierce to give out awareness regarding the harm reduction side of it, of education, and just get to know them where they're at currently and see what we can do to help them with treatment, if they want to get into treatment, or what is their plans. So it's basically just building that rapport with them first, and then from a week later, then they'll get to know you and they'll open up a lot more, and which gives you more of an idea of what direction to go with them.
Right. I guess that's really important, right, is developing that sense of trust
Yes.
between these individuals and you and the doctor, and visiting them on a regular basis really helps to build that a little bit?
Yes. Some will ask to meet with them later or in a private area. We'll go to the Harvest of Hope and sit up there, and they'll meet us there to where we can sit down more and interact with them regarding, talk about the harm reduction education. They talk about what's going on in the streets, what do they know, and they'll relate that back to us and see we can help. Just pretty much I'm just there to educate and help, just to give that awareness out to look out for. They do get Narcan as well from Dr. Pierce, so they do that education out there. So it's just a variety. It's so interesting what the street medicine has offered the last few years. It's amazing work that they're doing.
Right. How long have you been doing this, going out on Wednesdays?
I've been doing this for 3 weeks now.
Okay, so just new. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. But this program's been going on for quite a while, you were saying, right?
Yes.
And so that's really important too.
It's been going on, I believe, for 2 years, from my understanding. So they he was an ER doctor, and then he started this program, and which has been a success for them. So they, we get in a white cargo van, and then they have another vehicle following them. And so we'll just, whoever we find, we'll just pull up next to them and talk with them, ask, if they need some testing done, blood work done. It's just amazing because he can get onto the system and look up just their names and IHS and see what they need.
Right. And start providing for what they need too,
Yes.
I guess, right? And
Yes.
and you're there with other information or resources, I guess, depending on what they need as well, correct?
Yes, I talk about the overdose prevention. We talk about, just being safe, mainly the substance abuse area, about the polysubstance, alcohol and medication. and just look out just being safe, pretty much.
Right. And many times I know, as Amanda has taught me in the past, if someone is having an addiction, it's usually more than maybe one addiction, which is why you have this polysubstance abuse issue as well, correct?
Yes, and this gives me the opportunity to reach out with other agencies that they are already working with and connect with them as well of what we can do as San Juan County Partnership, what we can help to provide with education and Narcan training. That's just
Right.
main education.
Right. And are most of these individuals, or do you sometimes find couples or family groups in some of these situations? What do you see?
I see variety. I see couples. Yes, I see couples. I see family. They all know each other as brothers and sisters. So, and being out there, they know each other. They know who to trust and who not to trust, or to be alone. But most of them will stick together to our family. Are from the same area or related by clan wise. But from yesterday's experience was that there are couples out there will just stick together, and some have places to go and some don't, and some will tell us where they actually are staying to check up on them.
Right, right. Interesting. Now, you mentioned earlier that white cargo van that I want to ask you a bit about, because I imagine maybe sometimes when people see a white cargo van driving up, the walls go up, right?
Yes.
And they wonder what's going on. And so you're trying to get the word out that this is the vehicle that you're with. There's really not any signage on it, I guess, to explain what it is. And so I imagine maybe it takes a minute for folks to realize, why you're there in this white cargo van. Just people are a little nervous.
Yes, it's just a plain white cargo van and another small SUV following, and you'll see we'll be wearing our badges of where we're from. So it's hard for others to recognize that, and then we'll get side bystanders taking pictures or just have their guard up, but like, what are you guys doing? And we'll explain, and if it's unsafe, then we'll all get together, and then we'll get back in the van and we'll leave. That was an incident yesterday where that's what we had to do, was just pack up and leave. We watch each other. We can't go alone. There's always two people together. If we need to stay in the van, we'll stay in the van. So it's just aware that they are going out in the community at Walmart or the west side of Farmington in the afternoon, and it's towards the east side of Farmington.
Gotcha. And certainly you can understand why people will be a little hesitant or just nervous about seeing a van drive up, but you always explain why you're there, and as you mentioned, you've got your badges and your identification to show people the reasons why you're visiting with them. Yes,
and as well as we have our friends out there that will actually watch us too and be like, oh no, they're not here to harm you, they're just here to help you and give you some education. If you don't know, you can just ask them and they can help you what direction to turn, especially getting ID or some identification, but they will talk to somebody else if they have an issue.
Right. And that goes right back to the first things we talked about, which is trust.
Yes.
That whole idea, right, of being able to trust each other, and when you show up that they know why you're there and what you're there to do.
Yes. So this also goes hand in hand with the grant that I'm working with as well with Amanda. So it's very interesting.
Right. And Amanda Evans, let me bring you back into the conversation about some of this work that Dionna is doing and that whole idea of trust and getting services to these individuals, these really maybe high-risk individuals who don't have any other access to health care or just information about overdose and Narcan and all these things that Dionna was talking about. Really important to get that information out, and even if you go block by block, street by street, once a week.
Yeah, we've really tried to take kind of a multi-prong approach. So, Dionna's out on the streets. My side of it is more, I do media around it. So we have videos that are talking about how to safely store your prescriptions, how not to take two things together. Or if you are, you have been, even if you've been prescribed, excuse me, two things by your doctor. Talk to them about if you should be taking them at the same time or
Right.
separately, not mixing alcohol. So there's different levels. So Deonna's out doing this individually, one-on-one with people, and then we also have media to where people who might not hear this message otherwise might see it on social media and share it with someone, or tell a family member about it because they hear the message at something like the Fentanyl Awareness Day, or all these different avenues, so that we're trying to reach as many people in different ways as we can.
Right. And so this is a much bigger audience for this grant than just the homeless population. You are trying to reach a lot more people.
Yeah, fentanyl, the one thing we can say about fentanyl and some of these opioid overdoses is they're not just with one population or another. It can happen with anyone who takes either a legitimate prescription they might have for an opioid, and then mixes it with something else. They might take alcohol and you use alcohol with it at the same time, and that puts them more at risk for an overdose. Or you might have someone who is getting illegal fentanyl off the street or wherever, and that's even more dangerous because it's such a low dosage that it takes to cause an overdose versus some other things we see. And so we just really, it doesn't discriminate. It can be anyone in the community that can fall in with these issues. And so we do know that homelessness can have a connection with some of that,
Yes.
but it can be anyone that could have a problem with some of these things. And so we want to get that message out to a really wide audience.
Right, right. And the idea with the homeless and dealing with some of this fentanyl specifically is that sometimes it's added to other drugs and other things, and that's how it gets into the system. And if it's too much, you can have a really bad overdose reaction, correct?
Yeah, it can be laced into other drugs that you might not even realize. It can look like other pills. You might be thinking you're taking a Xanax and it's laced with fentanyl. There are places, Department of Health has where they can provide Narcan, but they also do fentanyl testing strips. So if you're going to take something that you're not sure where it came from, you didn't get it from your pharmacy, then you can use these strips to test and see if it might have fentanyl on it, which is a safety thing. And then also, again, having the Narcan on hand if you're going to take anything you don't know.
Right. And that's been something that you and I have talked about in the past, is the effort to get Narcan out into the community, and the training that you talked about, this event back in March 10th, I think it was, that helped with some training and just explaining to folks what it is and what it does. And I think the word is getting out more and more about how important it is to have access to it, because time is of the essence when someone's in an overdose situation.
Yeah, so we want to we want to encourage people. It should be part of your everyday medicine cabinet. If you have someone, especially if you have someone in the home taking an opioid, or if you know of someone, even I've heard stories where somebody gets in a wreck or something, and they figure out someone's overdosing and they have it in their car, so they're able to help. Law enforcement, EMTs, all of them carry it. So it's just so important to have access to it easily. And the great thing is there's no danger if you give it to someone and they're not having an opioid overdose. It's not going to hurt them at all. So there's really very little risk to helping out in a situation like that. But we did training for Narcan before this last one we've been talking about at the partnership, and we had we had more than we could even fit. We're trying to do them quarterly now and train, and then we're going to try to bring in a train the trainer so that we can get some other organizations trained to be able to train their staff, so we're not just having to train everybody in the community, but we can kind of spread it out.
Right. Because there was such a high demand,
Yes.
to learn how to do this and,
Yes.
and use this information. So that's really important. And the Narcan and the other name that I'm forgetting how to pronounce, and you always have to help me with that. But that's one name. That's a brand
Yes.
name for this
Yes.
drug, right? The other
Yeah.
name is,
Naloxone.
thank you, naloxone.
And really, we should be calling it naloxone, because that is what there are multiple. It's kind of like I use the example of ibuprofen versus Advil. Naloxone is the name of the drug, and then like Advil is the brand name, Narcan is the brand name. So you could end up with something that's naloxone, but not Narcan. So
Correct. That's
on
the
it.
important one. We should
Yeah.
probably use them interchangeably,
Yes.
and we kind of have been, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
I think people are more familiar with Narcan.
right. I think you're
But
right.
we use on our media and stuff. We use naloxone because
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to do any copyright infringement or any things. So
Sure.
But so we try to I probably say Narcan too much, but Narcan or naloxone
Thank
are
you.
the same thing.
Okay. And so folks are looking for that. Either one is the same. It's really the same
Yes.
thing. And so, and it's becoming more and more available, I think, too, right? If folks would like to have it as you advise in their medicine cabinet or even, wherever, it's available from multiple sources, is it not? Or is it still rolling out?
No, it's you can go to any pharmacy. So in New Mexico, pharmacists have a standing order that they've been issued where you don't have to have a doctor's prescription to be able to get it. So you can just walk up to Walgreens or any of the pharmacies here in town and ask for naloxone or Narcan, and they can prescribe it just there. You don't have to have a separate doctor's prescription.
Got you. And there's a price on it, or is it?
Depending on your insurance, so if you have like Medicaid, it's usually always covered. If you have private insurance, it can depend on if there's going to be a copay and what that might be.
Okay.
And then there is, if it's not covered under your insurance, you could have to pay a cost for it.
Gotcha. But
So
good.
from my understanding,
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
it
right.
ranges from $64 to $140, I believe. So it depending on what pharmacy you're going to, as well, and what insurance you carry.
Okay. But good to know. But that's a small price to pay to save a life, right? Because it really is amazing in what it's able to do in case of an overdose.
Yes.
So.
And there are still, like when we do a training, we hand out Narcan. So there are places in the community, Department of Health, things like that, where, if you really need it and you can't afford it and it's not covered under, or you don't have insurance, there are places you can call and get help finding it.
Right. Okay. Good to know. And so stay tuned, everyone, as we say in the business, because there are usually some other avenues to get it as well. And as you mentioned, you're trying to do more training quarterly.
Yes.
Through the San Juan County Partnership, and these other organizations are picking up on it as well to get the word out. What's next that we want to talk about this morning? Is there stuff coming up this summer?
We have a lot going on with our coalition. We have, when we got these separate grants under substance use prevention, we started looking at how do we bring the community together so it's not just the partnership doing this work, but we are getting input from the people who are really making a difference already in the community. And so we meet monthly. We've started a youth engagement committee that's working on getting youth involved in some of these projects because we know, age is also, we have problems with youth overdosing. Here, not quite as much as adults, but we do see that, and so, and then using alcohol is been an issue with youth. So we're going to be hosting at the end of April a Narcan training for the community, and then we're also going to be doing a cornhole tournament for youth to get them involved in some of the stuff we're doing.
Got you. And that will allow you to be able to maybe give the youth some information a little bit about what we're talking about, or just awareness for them?
I think some of that, and then getting their feedback, because I think, we don't always know what's going on with youth. I think we have ideas, but they're really the experts in what are they seeing their friends use, what are ways we could get information to them. So we want to hear their voice, and I think that's one of the big important, I think it goes back to why Dionna goes out on the streets and to talk to people is, we can talk about what is problems for people dealing with homelessness, but until you actually talk to them, you don't know what's really going on with them. And it's the same with youth. So it's this issue of we can do all these, even the media and stuff, we can put it out there, but if we don't have feedback from the people we really want to reach and know if it's really what they need, it's kind of useless.
Right. Or if it's not connecting with them,
Yes.
I suppose, too, right? Because sometimes grown-ups mean well, but sometimes they don't quite connect with the audience that they want to talk to, right?
We might be a little old sometimes. Me, maybe not Dionna.
I'm reminded every day. Every day. So it's very true.
And the kids are influence for each other, and then,
Right.
So that's I have teenage boys and adult daughters, so they influence each other, and they'll come back about their stories. I always, if so, getting the adolescent involved and also the parents involved, it's a hand in hand. So you really get to meet all around with families and with the kiddos about what it is going on and getting their feedback of what they see.
Sure. Right. Well, and as Amanda was saying, for some of these media campaigns, to have a focus group maybe that you can show something to, youth, teens, whatever, and ask for their feedback. And sometimes they might just say, it's not really connecting with me. Try again, I guess, right?
Yeah, sometimes we'll get feedback, like, oh, you could tweak this or tweak that, and then sometimes we get, nope, just start over.
Nice try.
And they don't even say nice try. Sometimes
Okay,
they're like, no, not
Start
even.
over.
Yeah.
Don't.
No, that didn't resonate with us. But I do think, I want to reiterate the trust thing that
Yes.
you guys were talking about, because I think that's with youth too, is you have to build trust before you can get real on some of these issues. And so that's really what we're working on all these themes, is how do we as a community build trust and listen to each other and hear what we're saying and hear what the problems are, instead of us just thinking we know.
Right. This is important, and here's why. And please listen.
Yep.
There you go. Very
And
important.
also, being out in the streets there this past couple of weeks, is you will actually meet their family that are looking for them. You will hear their stories, and some will ask for Narcan regarding an incident that they seen with, my age group I'm working with is 24 to 64 years old, and that's what I see out there. So when I see them and talk with them, their family will just come up and be like, hey, this is what we need and this is what they need. I didn't know about this. And then that's where that motivation interviewing comes in, and also just speaking about the education, what's out there and what can we do. So that's what's pretty interesting about it.
Very much. Well, and really interesting conversation this morning about just, sometimes there's just no replacement for getting out there on the street and having those one-on-one interactions with folks to learn what they're dealing with and how you can help them. So I think it's really important. And thanks to you for doing that every week.
Yeah, it's cold.
It is cold, I'm sure. No kidding. But that's great. Well, thank you both for coming in this morning. Thank you, of course, as always, for the work of the San Juan County Partnership. We really appreciate it.
Okay,
Thanks for
thank
letting
you.
us share.
Thank you very much. My guest this morning from the San Juan County Partnership with me here on KSJE. KSJE is supported by the University of Denver Graduate School of Social Work Four Corners program in Durango, accepting applications for the Advanced Standing MSW program beginning July 2023. Students with a bachelor's degree in social work are eligible for the one-year program. Stipends in child welfare, opioid workforce expansion, and Native American tuition support to eligible students are available. Find out more at du.edu/socialwork.
Online communities open us up to the